miss anything. Okay, I've started the recording from my end.
Yeah, I'll just check the record.
The record, it will be on the bottom where you have the mic and everything.
Now it's like 1 second. I'll just stop this.
Yeah.
Now record is fine.
Yeah.
Record on this computer, no worry.
Yes, fine. So even in case my network fails or due to any reason, you can keep moving ahead. That's fine. And we also will be having a recording with you so that we don't miss it. Okay. So thank you very much all, and thanks for joining this this evening's program with Lieutenant Colonel, I would say, Navin Kumar sir. Yeah, my great friend, my online friend, and he has always been supporting me all the time, right from the day I created my Insta account, and later also during the Facebook. He's a very humble gentleman, down to earth. And he has done, a lot of, he has retired as a lieutenant colonel and has served as training and operations officer. And he has also, during his entire program, during that training and operation officer, he has designed and conducted several programs for self-development and team building. And he also provides, a better specialized in training in business organizations. He's focused on that, especially on the quality management, skill development, leadership, and soft skills. Apart from that, he is holding an MBA degree. He's a qualified engineer also with an MBA degree. And he has many professional qualifications. Maybe during his entire webinar, he might brief us on the different qualifications and various, he has worked with in technology, management, and also security. That's really great. And he has also attended the United Nations Staff College. Okay, so this is a brief introduction. So he has normally around 3 decades of experience, both in private and public sector. So let's go ahead and get Navin Kumar sir on this platform of Mindset Club for Success. I request you to please welcome Navin sir with applause so that, it's a way to respect him into this dais. So it's all yours, Navin sir. Yeah, you have 1 hour, full hour. Please take your own time. And since you're from such a long place, we don't mind waiting for maybe even it goes ahead with 15 or 20 minutes. I think we can adjust. That's not a problem. Okay, so it's all yours. And last 15 minutes, we'll have a question and answer session. So anybody has some questions or anything, they will go ahead and ask you. Okay, thank you very much. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. And I would like to thank all these gentlemen who are present here. In fact, I would like to learn from them. They are all great people of vast experience in their respective field. And it's a honor and a pleasure to be on this platform. I'd like to thank Mr. Pradeep for organizing this and inviting me to speak on this platform. And I really feel really honored and privileged to be here, to be giving my input. So I'm Navin Kumar. I'm going to go about this presentation in such a way. I'm going to first talk about my own journey, like Pradeep said, to speak about myself a bit so that you know me a bit better. And then my lessons on corporate leadership. I'm going to talk about my lesson, how I feel they were in corporate leadership. And then we'll have a conclusion. And finally, we can have a question and answer session. My journey, we go by the career itself. You see, right now, I'm a life coach and a corporate trainer. I have been in a different sector. I started in the communication branch. I was an engineer in telecommunication. So I was being given in charge of the signal wing, like you call it, signal branch, the communication branch. There I was looking after equipment, maintenance of equipment, and making sure that the radio network is working properly and functioning so that it provides the best services to the men on the ground. At the same time, I was also in charge and responsible for organizing training to the men, but specifically on radio communication, on the effective communication skills, writing messages based on that, and equipment maintenance, things like that. These were our main duties initially when I joined the defense. But after a few years, um, I climbed the rank, and then I was made to become the operation and training officer. Like in operation, like most of you know, we look after the day-to-day operation and specific operation and plan future operation, and also the training officer. So we have uh, both the appointment come for the same person. Now training, it's like it's a year-long training. You train people, and in the defense background, there is a year-long training. Everyone undergoes at least two, three, four, five types of different training per year. It may be an individual training, it may be a training in a group, it may be specific training, it may be just a refresher training. So training is like year-long generally. We try to conduct training year-long for people. And while I was doing this duty, I had also the opportunity to implement various project. I was also in project management, like various project of national levels, important project on security, on CCTV, and also some project which are for national use, like they select people from the armed forces to head this project because they believe that these people are much more tuned to complete project on time and get it done the way it should be done. So with this experience in the armed forces, and I also had the opportunity for this job of mine to travel a lot. I traveled in most of the continent, most of the countries, met, you can say, been to all the armies in the world, um, seen all the training, the best institution in the world in terms of training, like you were saying. Um, Being there, and I felt myself growing, like meeting people from abroad and meeting this select audience that we have even today. It's a learning experience, to meet people of such calibers, with such experience, with such depth, with such knowledge. It really affect you. It's really like make you think and make you do things a bit more with confidence, like you met people who've done it. They are people who are doers in one sense. So this was my experience in the armed forces, and in Mauritius specifically, we have a facility like in India or in most countries. If you're a military man, you remain a military man. You cannot join the civilian police. But in Mauritius, we had that special privilege. You can also be a military man, and at the same time, you can shift to civilian police. So I have both the background, that of a military personnel and that also of a law enforcement officer. So I shifted to the police department, and there I was given being made in charge of some stations, like you're a station commander, so you have a few stations to look after. And what I remember, I grasped from those experience was that in the army, you have people who are very disciplined. You call them, they come. If you send them a mail, they reply immediately. There is some form of discipline. Discipline, the sense of discipline is very strong. But when you work with civilian population or you work with the population at large, it's not the same feeling. It's quite different. And I went to the police areas. I visited the areas. And one of my first things was I always had this strong desire in myself to do something new. I've done a few things like this, what's called the new things, even while I was in the armed forces, certain projects which were not there. I tried it and it worked it brought great result. I tried similar things while I was in police. I could have not done it. I could have stayed in my office. I could have just let go. I would have still got my salary. But I went out of my way. I said, no, let me do something for the population. I went to them. I started contacting them, their groups, whatever groups they had there. I started integrating those groups, uh, trying to know more about them. And I came to learn a lot about the community. And problem solving. Like one of my, I would say, strong point for myself is I'm quite okay, I would say, in problem solving and decision making. So what happened is during those meeting, they gave me their grievances, their problems, what they have. Sometimes the problem that they gave were not directly concerned to me. It was not my concern, directly concerned other. But as a father, as a civilian, as a citizen of this world, I feel that if I can give an advice or I can do something that is going to help the population, it will be great. Like, for example, I'll give you a case. Where I was working, parents were complaining that their son and their daughters do not reach home on time. Um, they gave the excuse that the bus services is bad or something like that, like transportation is not good. And parents were quite concerned. Actually, the case was not that. On investigation, we found out that, in fact, the children, after school, they formed groups and they were enjoying themselves in the garden somewhere and they were not coming back home. So they were waiting for the last bus to come home. So we sorted this out in a way. I called the parents, I called, in fact, the students were there, some of them, they listened to me. I called the bus operators, the one who, fly those routes, and they gave me their version. They heard the parents, and we clarified everything that at what frequency buses do come to the place from the school to their location, and that shouldn't be a problem. And believe me, I did the program, that meeting on a night. The next day, the problem was solved. So you see, it's just a matter of hours, a problem of a community which was pending for years has been solved. This is one. So we have similarly many other examples I can give, but I'm not going to dwell on all examples, but just to let you know that how strategy, here what I want to say, the most important point is strategy. Sometimes it does happen that you do have a problem and the problem looks big. The resources, you find them scarce. You're not able to tackle the problem head on. And it is at these moments that fine strategies comes into play. If you have a good strategy, for me, what is strategy? Strategy is that plan which can make a big problem become very small with the minimum resources. You're able to solve a problem. So that's the best strategy. This is how I work out any of my plan. And similarly, now I'll just give another example here. You know, Mr. Naik, who is from the armed forces, and I do not know whether it is the same in the factories, in the industries. You see, when you are in a place for 20 years or for 19 years, because by mere fact of being to that place, you are giving the best place to command. You're being given the best choice. But when you go to a new place, you're new there, you're the odd man out in one sense. You're being given, that department which is not working so much. You're being given that office which is called, uh, not the best thing. So when I went to the police, I didn't get the best police station, I would say, to work with. I got a place which was, the crime rate was very high. The motivation level was very low. And I knew it. I could see that. The people whom I met in the station were almost going for retirement. It's like I had a group where most people who are just applied for retirement, they have been sent there. So you see, the motivation to work, to do something new is very low. And myself, I was very young on those days when I went there. Still, I am, I believe. So when I went there, eh, I remember when talking to the people, they said it's the feeling I got, like when talking to them, new faces, new discipline, not so much like in the army. It's like they are telling me, it's like I get the message, you can talk, we'll do what we want, something like that. And I'm not someone who gives up so easily also. So at that moment, the clerk of that station, he brought me a paper. In that paper, it was written that if ever the station would like to participate in a competition, what is that competition? Is the government of Mauritius, the civil service, they put a competition every year, and it's called the Civil Service Excellence Award. Like you participate, you prove that your unit, your station is functioning fine. They will come and check. People will vote for that. The population will vote for that who are there. And if those who get the maximum vote, there's a team of jury which tours the country, you will be given an award. So I look at that paper and I say, what do you think, gentlemen? Do you think you can participate in that? Everyone was silent. And I said, as your commander, I feel, yes, you should. And I also felt that you're going to win it. So everybody was like, oh, not us. Come on. Huh? We are not that good. There are those stations who are A-class station. They are better than us. We are a C-class station, not so great. I said, no, I feel you are going to get it. And I started working on that. And believe me, they won it. They won a prize of, in your words, is 100,000. I think you call it 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh, Mauritian rupees. They got the prize. They were surprised that how did they get it? I said, no, it is possible. Because I have been working so much with people, transforming people, that I go by the sentence, there are no bad men, but bad leaders. If you are a good leader, you should be able to transform. In fact, General Patton said that there are no bad men, but in fact, there are bad leaders. Okay, so if you're a good leader, you can transform. There are many examples like this, which I can take. However, with a good career like this, uh, I was doing well in my workplace, even though there were some difficulties. It's always there, but otherwise it was fine. I was happy with my work. I was always trying to do something new, which I was able to do. And wherever I have worked, the crime rate has come down within 3 months. And it's very rejoicing when you find an old lady or a lady coming and telling you, sir, I was afraid in that bus stop to stand alone at night. Now I feel safe. You feel that your objective has been achieved. Or someone calling you and say, we were hearing quite some theft on this side. Now we don't hear it. You see, we managed to put such a system wherever I have worked. There was one gentleman, he came from France. He had a house, a secondary house in a place which he was hardly using. He used it maybe once a year or every 2 years, once he was just entering his house. So one day he came and he was entering his house. He was trying to open the gate. He was not able to open the gate. The padlock was rusted, after 2 years. He was playing with that. And he was alone. He didn't have any suitcase, anything. He came, he stayed in a hotel. And now on one fine day with his short and so on, he just came to check his house, his residence. Within 30 seconds of his touching that gate, police came and arrested him, brought him to the station, inquired about him, why he's playing with that padlock. Then they came to know he's the owner. So you see, for something like that to happen, the population over there reacted so fast. They saw something not so usual. They immediately called the police. The police came there within 30 seconds. And the person himself, he was impressed. He said, I'm going in my own house. I've been arrested. And it's so nice. I feel so safe now to know that my house is very safe. It's being taken care of. So you see, possibilities are there. There's only a question of being willing or being willing to do that. With such a career, with such everything, after some time, I felt from within myself a call to change, to move further up, to do something different. But I didn't know what to do, something different. So that came the turning point. I didn't know what to do in my life. But a strong desire was there. I need to reinvent myself. I need to do something. So I took a break. And that break was, I decided straight away, I don't know why, straight away, I just took retirement from my work. I went on retirement. Initially, I went for some leave and then I took retirement. And during those leave period, a short leave period of 3, 4 months, what I did, I said, what do I do? I'm not getting an answer for that. So, for all answers, people go to India. India is a great place. You have great people like you, and this is a land which provide answers for everything. So I said, let me do some social work, some voluntary social work. So I took my family, I came to Vrindavan. It's one of the town cities very close to Delhi. And there I stayed in an ashram and we worked for the welfare of the widows. You must have heard the widows of Vrindavan. So together with my wife, my daughter, we stayed there for 3 months and we made a survey for them, on their lifestyle, what are they doing, why they have come there, what is the problem. And we managed to send a few back home. Like we managed to reunite a few back with their families. I was always contacting the families. And if there were some issues at that time, calling them, talking on phone, sorting out the issues, sorting out the differences. And if you went back home, we could at least in that 3 month time send a few back home. And then our project was over. After 3 months, I came back, stayed for 2 months in Mauritius again, and felt that no, it's not enough. I need more such experience to open it a bit more on a different world, to understand this world better. So this time I came again back to India. This time I decided on my own without any support. And all these works are done without any support from anyone or any organization. The first one, we stayed in a national point organization. We worked for them. The second time I went there, I say it was on my own. We just went in a community without knowing the people, without knowing anything. I went in that community. It's a poor community of workers, of people living in hut and so on. And we talked to the parents. We tried to motivate the parents to send their children to school for learning because none of the children were actually going to school. And on talking to the children, we came to know that they have been to school maybe a month or two like this, and then they dropped out. And the parents are not motivated. They do not believe in schooling. The community is not motivated. The children are not motivated. However, we tried to convince them and we gathered some 40 students, 40 street children. We brought them in a temple yard. In a temple yard, we got a temple yard to educate them. We bought, chalk, um, whiteboard, and so on, and we started teaching them. Now it is quite interesting. In that class, you have people from 4 years old up till 16 years old, and they are just you imagine India better than me. They come, and they were really in difficulty. You can say we were sitting down, and I got a problem in sitting down, so I sat together with them, teaching them. Sometimes teaching a 4-year-old child drawing, taking interest in drawing, doing some crayon work, and some ABCDs, some Indian alphabets. My wife was teaching them, and of course some mathematics like that. And it so happened that you see transformation, how it happens. We do not know what we do in life sometimes. A few of those young children, the parents saw the interest in the children. They came and met us, and they were of the opinion that we have been given money by the government. We take lots of money from government to teach the children. We don't teach them, and then we take the money we got. I say to them, if any one of you can prove that I've taken 1 rupee from the government, I'll give you 10,000 rupees right now. You just bring me that person who said that I've taken 1 rupee from the government to do this job. So they got confidence like this. And many of the children started leaving our school. They start going to regular school, the young ones. And I was very happy to see them in uniform. And when we were traveling in the town, sometimes they see us, they wave, hello, sir, how are you? In their own language. They were very happy to see us. Now in school uniform with a bag and so on, they're going to school. And those who couldn't, we continued to train them, to teach them. And after 4 months, with the help of an NGO came at that time, We managed to provide them transportation, food, books, uniform, and so on. And all the children were actually sent to normal school. They were able to integrate normal school. We spoke to the school authorities. We explained to them why these children should be integrated. Even for nothing, let them sit in your class. Let them sit and learn. Because I could see something very amazing. These people have got great intelligence. If you are able to cultivate that, they're very creative. They're very stubborn in the beginning, but once you open that gate of the mind that they get that interest, they can do marvelous things, these people, these children. So anyway, they went there. And in that community, we trained 40. After that, the NGO went to look for children. They got 90. 90 people got interested. And I think the service is still continuing till date. Bus town picks them up and send them to school and back. This is what was happening there. And after that, we returned back home. Then I said, what next? Then I thought, yes, I feel I got the answer of what I want to do. I think I would be able to help people become better, do something better. So I decided then to become a life coach. Now, I took training for 1.5 years on life coaching and later got myself registered in UK. While I was there, I get myself registered to, you have to register to practice in other countries. So I got myself registered there. At the same time, I started working in the corporate sector. And in the corporate sector, they were giving me like project management. They made me the head of the engineering department. So I completed a few projects like that. And I was also doing training. Then I felt that I was very easy with the background that I have to be able to incorporate the business world and to teach them certain principles of management, ways to do things in the most effective and efficient way. So that gave me the guidance that I should become a life coach and a corporate trainer. So here I am, gentlemen, a life coach and a corporate trainer, which I'm doing right now. Now, with this background, we talk about the voluntary social work, which I did, and the life coaching and corporate work. Uh, I would say what I do as services, just to give you quickly, um, services that I provide. I can also provide on technology, radio communication technology, but I go very less on them. I'm more into uh, self-esteem, building self-esteem and confidence in people, in the youth, in the students, in someone who's willing to do something better, in overcoming frustration and helplessness. Everyone faces this condition. This is the law of nature that everyone will have some pressure on him in this world. So how do you overcome them? How do you fight them and still be a better person, take the right decision? And something like getting your best version. Every one of us, we are different and we are good differently. We have something good in us differently. And what if we take that out and project that good that we have in us, we enhance that, we get our best version. So I help people in becoming their best version. This is what I train people for. And of course, I also train in managerial training. I give quality training, soft skill development, team building, social coaching, and leadership training. So these are the areas which generally I, I focus upon. And coming to the end of my journey, I would say that I started the journey not knowing where it will lead. To be very frank, I didn't know where it will lead. But I ended up knowing more about life. I learned more about life in my journey. And I still feel that I got more learning to do on this journey. Um, Coming now on the first part of my talk, my discussion is over on myself. Now I'm going to focus on the second part, which is my lessons learned on corporate leadership. Now, I would like to clear certain concepts first before we move for the corporate leadership. First, you know, it's very great just to have a definition, a quick definition of what I do, and what I feel is sum and substance of corporate leadership. Corporate leadership has got two main things. The first one is operation and strategy. You see, um, I was an operation officer, so I understand that how it helped me, to incorporate and to become a trainer. A corporate leader, they are those CEOs, those C with many other figures on the letters, and they are the high-ranking officers, the senior managers of the business world. What is the main task? They ensure that the corporation is small and the vision, the forward vision for that company is clear. They work on that. So it's operation and strategy. This is how I sum it up. These are the two things that they do. And basically, I would say there are the four M's, which I say. They would be in one way or the other managing, creating a process to manage your man who is working, the machine which is performing, and the material, whatever resources you require for that. Whether you're producing a product or you're producing a service, you're giving a service-oriented organization. You see, you will have to manipulate the man, the machine, and the material. Okay, so these are the three important M's for me. And how you manage them, how you will do that will come a bit later on that. But this is just the concept. I'm clearing the concept. Now, the traditional principle of any business organization in which all of you have been is basically to grow wealth. There's no second thought about it. The investors, they're putting $100,000, they would like to see it becoming $125,000 the next year. They would like to see it growing. This is why they're putting the money. Otherwise, they would not be interested in putting the money. They would like to grow their wealth. So like we say, the aim of any business is to grow wealth. However, my personal thought, I do not train people to grow wealth. If they want to grow wealth, then I say you can see someone else because I'm interested in something different. You see, if you reflect back 20, 30, 40, 50 years back, those industries which started in those days, they promised a better world. They promised wealth. They promised richness. They promised many things for this world. They promised everything good. And in every project that you do, there is what is called the EIA. I think in India, it might be the name is different. The environment impact assessment is done before you give license for any industry to operate. And what do they look in that basically? That it's not going to affect the life of the community. It's not going to make others become poor. It's not going to cause more pollution, cause more damage to the environment. And surprisingly, all those EIAs show that yes, this industry is conforming to the laws and will not be a reason of concern in the future. But what do we see today? We are surrounded by plastic, we are surrounded by pollution, we are surrounded by everything that is causing damage to our world. So we have done business, definitely we have done business. Few people, a few communities, a few businessmen have become rich, there's no doubt about it. But the impact they have left on our world in which we live is quite suffocating. It's not the right thing. So I come up with a different concept that I do not want people to do business just to grow wealth. Of course, growing wealth will be there. I would like people to create happiness. This is my new principle. You see, by creating happiness, I mean, you should understand that if you have an industry, if you're a CEO, if you're a boss there, you're giving work to many people. You're keeping so many people, families alive and able to live a decent life. You should be able to look after the community around you. And you should be able to see to it that your industry does not leave any kind of imprint which is going to damage and affect the livelihood of other people, of other communities, of the nation, of the world. This is what we want. So from growing wealth, which is a very narrow perspective, we are coming to creating happiness. Business-wise, which will it's an enlarged way, it's a wider way of looking after your business. It's like when you're doing your business, you're doing it together with keeping in mind the environment and the welfare of other people. So this is it. Now, how do we go about it? How do we make a leader come to that understanding? Come to that understanding that yes, I'm not here just to create money. And money, let me tell it to you, I have seen many people, uh, you must know about them also, who have created a lot of wealth, but they're still unhappy. They're not satisfied. You see, so money is not equivalent to happiness. You see, it can give you some level of comforts, definitely. But happiness, inner happiness, it doesn't give you a kind of satisfaction. So coming back to what principle I work now to create such kind of leaders, to enthuse them, to make them understand and move forward with such a mindset, it's like first thing, basic principle we say, great leaders are born and not made. Uh, this was a sentence said by Bruce Fairchild Barton in the 60s and the 50s, 40s. He was a US congressman, politician, basically, and he's also an author and was in the advertising sector. Now, this sentence of his has been repeated millions of times everywhere, has been copied and has been used to explain many concepts. I find some truth in that. Yes, we have seen in the world around us, it is true, great leaders are born. And you will see in India, there's so many examples of those great leaders. They, if you look at them, the childhood, early childhood, and during the growth period, they were out of society. They were not even integrated within society. And one look at them, you would say that they lack all the qualities to prosper in life, to do something impactful in life. But without education, without training on their own, they follow their inner self or inner voice and they end up doing something great. So, yes, great leaders are born. That is true. Now, the other side of the story is, which we have to consider, is psychologists. They made some other research and they found out that only one third of the people can be said to be born leaders. Two-thirds of them are leaders who become leaders based on training and education. They're trained, educated, and then they transform themselves into the kind of leadership that is required. So this aspect we need to know. So the conclusion is no one, no leader can claim that he has all the skills and abilities. Some of them he has as his strength, and some of them he doesn't have. These are his weaknesses, which he needs to acquire, he needs to train professionally and personally and develop that. Now, second important aspect that we talk about when we talk about leadership is you know yourself. You see, if it's a basic principle, in science, if you want to make uh, any element, anything, you first need to know the properties of that element. You need to know its properties, its inner properties, what it is. If you know that sugar is sweet and you want sweetness, you can put it in water. But first you need to know its properties. Then you can know where all you can use that properties. Similarly, it is very important, I feel, to know yourself because everybody is different. Everybody has got something for which he has come in this world. And if we are able to tap on that strength of ours, we'll be able to leave a good impression as well. We'll be able to make a good contribution to this world that way. Now, this is where this knowing yourself comes. And knowing yourself also comes with another package, You have to be confident and accept yourself for who you are. Very important. Uh, Many people, they do not want to accept themselves as they are because they feel other person is better than me. He's the model. I should follow him. Of course, you can follow all the good example, but you can't become another person. You are yourself, and it's good that you follow yourself. You see, that is very, very important. So you need to love yourself, accept yourself as who you are, even if you have weaknesses, accept the weaknesses, and then work out from the weaknesses and turn that weakness into a strength. Because knowing your weakness is already half the battle gained. Now you just need to transform that weakness into your strength. Um, Next thing that I would like to talk about is teamwork. You see, corporate leadership. When we come to corporate leadership, many school of thought, they give trainings on professional knowledge, decision making, presentation, communication skills, and so on and so forth. They give these. There are many school of thought which gives that. I don't say I don't give them. If I'm requested, I would give them also. But I believe in something different. And even you, gentlemen, who are sitting with me, will agree to me. And you must have observed this in your surrounding, in your career, in your workplace. There are many people who join. When they join the workplace, they are maybe a bit hesitant in talking, in communicating, or in doing a presentation, or in doing a particular job without any formal training. Over the years, just by the mere fact and experience of working in that job, they gain those qualities. After a few years, you meet them, you say, this person has changed. Earlier, he was not able to talk. Now he can speak fluently. He can express himself articulately, very clearly, and he can get his point across. You see? So these are certain qualities which eventually someone will learn. I would like to concentrate on those important qualities which a leader must have in order to make his organization move towards excellence. Teamwork. So then I come to teamwork. Now, teamwork, a leader in himself, or we say a corporate business senior manager, a CEO, whatever, he's nothing without his team. The team, in fact, the team produces the outcome. The product or the services is produced by the team. He's the one who is directing that team to produce that outcome. Now, we always talk about efficiency. If you want to do things in the most efficient and effective way, you got to make sure that the team is built in cohesion. A simple example everyone must know about it is that when you got a weight to lift, simple thing, you got a weight to lift 500 kilo, let's say. One person cannot lift 500 kilo, but maybe 10% can. If one can put a force of 50 kilo, that can do. But if all the 10 people come together and each one tries to lift and move that weight on their own, in their own time, that weight is not going to move. It's going to stay fixed. But if they do it in unison, if they do it in sync, togetherness, they'll be able to move that way. So the same principle applies in teamwork for product and services. You got to make sure it's not just that uh, people are working, they're working, I agree with us, so they're working. You got to make sure that there is teamwork. They know each other. This will help them solve many problems internally before it comes to you. And the quality of your product, the efficiency and performance of your team will change just if you are able to work on your team properly. So this is one of the areas where we lay emphasis on. And we always say to lead people is to walk beside them. Or like the Britishers said, walk the talk. You don't just talk, but walk the talk. You see, and this was said by Lao Tzu. He said, lead people, walk beside them. I think it's very common and very known that if you're walking with the people, you're together with them, seeing them do something, you will have a better understanding of what is the requirement, what are the limitations, what are the constraints in which your people are working. And you'll be able to take better decisions, give them better facilities, and give the right kind of input for them to perform better. Okay, so these are the things that we now. Uh, it is important for a leader to be inclusive and democratic. Inclusive in the sense that he should not discriminate uh, between groups, between people. He's one person whom everyone sees, and that person has to be very, very fair and just. He's bound to be fair and just. If he is not, if at a very senior position someone is not fair and just, uh, no matter how much you try to hide it, the lower ranks, they will come to see it. They're much more observant than you. Always remember, you got two pair of eyes, there are hundreds of them looking at you. So they will be able to take up that and anything to deal with unfairness, something which is not justified, where they feel they have been sidelined, is not going to give the right type of work culture, right type of work environment. And you're not going to, you know, achieve something great if you have got frustrated and resentful workforce or people with whom you have to work. So that is very important to be inclusive and democratic. I would say you got to take opinion of people. You got to ask for the opinion. You have to designate tasks. You have to ensure that no one is sidelined. Everyone is trained. Everyone receive what they are supposed to receive. That your policies are fair and just to everyone. So you have to see that these qualities, these principles are incorporated within your framework. And it is not just that you say it, you got to check it also. It's not that I've said, I've told my manager, the manager has told the supervisor, it's going to happen. No, you got to check it back on your own. If you cannot check the whole industry, make random check, meet the people, talk to them, observe. You'll be able to see much more than what is being reported to you. Always remember one thing, I have seen it. When a report comes to me, whenever I was working, I always take it, this is 50% of the truth. There's 50% of clarity which is missing in that, and that I always find out. Because whoever is reporting to you, he will report to you in the best possible way. He will tell you this is the best thing that is happening. Everything is happening in a smooth way. You have to go and check how smooth is smooth and whether he's seeing it the right way or he's trying to hide something from you, because this always happens invariably. And it leads us to an important point, like of a servant leader. We always, initially in the ancient days, we have a boss. We say, this is my boss. And then we came to the concept of no, boss is too strong a word. Let's call him manager. He manages them, right? And then that was also not very liked so much with evolution. Let's call leaders, team leaders, middle leaders, we call them leaders because they are part of the team. They're not telling you something, they're isolated from the problem, and then you solve the problem. They're part of the solution themselves. So we call them leaders. And now there's a new concept coming. We call them servant leader. Because see, what happens? Anyone on his own, he will not be able to produce something great. If you have an organization, you have 300, 400 people, 1,000 people working there. It is the effort of each and every one of these people which gives profit to your organization, which brings money in your organization. It's not just the job of one person, the top boss. So what is the task of that top boss? The task of that top boss is to see to it that the abilities of his team, of his workforce is maintained, is improved, that the work environment is conducive, it is fair, everyone is working happily and is motivated to work. It's very important. Everyone is motivated to work. Even if a person wants to leave after some time, fine. But as long as he's serving there, he should be happily serving. He should feel happy to come to work. He should feel this is another place I can be. It's not a place which gives me stress. It's a place where I can relieve myself, my stress. I like to work there. He has to create that kind of environment. This is where he comes as a servant, as if he is serving his organization. So we call the term servant leader, or some people find servant to be too strong. So we call him a caring leader with a caring attitude. We can call it this way also. Well, that's where we feel the focus should be. And it is, in fact. I'll give you an example. Uh, I went to, when I was in US, um, it so happened, and this is something I will not be able to imagine it in any other place. And even in my country, it will be difficult to imagine that. Uh, we were doing some work, and after some time we had a break. During the break time, you have a small kind of, a get-together room where you will take your tea, your coffee, your tea room, you call it, tea room, they call it, another name over there. So we're taking our cup of tea and juice or whatever you want to take over there. And at that moment, the general of that institution, he came down. When he came, there was no tension in anyone's face that the general is present among them. Everyone was talking. He came, he shook hands with everyone. How are you? Had a word with everyone. And he went, he took his own coffee, poured his own coffee, and was talking and was sipping. While sipping it like this, a few drops fell on the ground, on the tiles. He said, oh, he keep his cup aside. He walked out. Everyone was there, and for the locals, the US Army personnel, they were quite used to it. Probably for us, it was something. We're observing that. He went. After some time, he came with a mop in his hand. He mopped that. He went, dropped the mop, come back, wash his hand, and wiping it, taking his coffee. You see, I don't think this scene I could see it anywhere else. It speaks a lot of what kind of relationship the general is having with his man, the man he commands. You see, there is strictness, there is everything. There's also lots of respect and concern for each other. And, I was quite impressed by that. I lived there. And a leader should be committed and dedicated to his work. If he's not committed and dedicated, and then the product, the output will not be great. He will just be a salaried person taking his salary and he's not concerned. And I think today we require people who are concerned, just like Mr. Pradeep Shetty and the team who is here. They have come here out of concern, out of being better, out of making this world a better place to live, a better place to be, and to give our own contribution in our own humble way. So commitment and dedication is important to achieve such a task. And I would say, as a, we talk about as a conclusion to that corporate leadership thing, every one of us, every person within us, we have got a purpose. And if we align our purpose and keep it alive in all the activities that we do, I think the result will be great. We'll be achieving great thing. That will be the guiding principle for us, and it will help us in all decision making. So whatever decision I take at my workplace, at the shop, while meeting a friend, it is in line with my principle. It will not be a way, and I will not feel that, oh, I'm doing something against, my own belief system. This is a big problem. Like people believe in something, and at work they're made to do something they don't believe in, but they have to do it because they say that's organization. They're working like that. But you can always align that. in a way, it doesn't hurt uh, the process at your workplace. It doesn't hurt your process. It doesn't hurt anyone. I would say there's always a way to do good things. There's always a way to do good things. And even though there are obstacles, you should try to, you know, rise above those obstacles to do it. Let's not limit ourselves with rules and regulation. When it comes to doing good, when it comes to doing good, very often we say, the rule is like this, I can't help you, sir. Well, rules are made to make people feel better, to help people. It's not made to, obstruct people, to make people feel pain. If you need to change the rule, change it. It's man-made in any case. Change it. It's your organization. You won't speak to someone. Get it changed. And as a conclusion, I would say that no leader can claim to have all the abilities, all the skills. So learning is a constant process. You have to learn some of it. And what is important is your willpower. One should be willing to learn and grow professionally and personally. If you have that will, you'll be able to do that. And definitely you will feel some difficulty. What are those difficulties? The difficulties are you should be ready to challenge your own limitation. And it also means you should be ready to work outside your comfort zone. You see, maximum progress, maximum growth professionally and personally happens outside the comfort zone. So this is where you have to put yourself, at least for some time, gain the qualities, and then you can relax a bit if you want. But you want to achieve something, you got to put the effort. And I would say the 3 Ds for me, determination determines your destination. That's what I come with for today. I always come out in my lecture with something like that. And I feel that, yes, if you have the determination, it will determine your destination. And yes, these are my, I'm over, these are my details over here. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I've got a YouTube channel where I post regularly videos on corporate training and, life coaching. I got a life coach site also. For the time being, most of my training are online. And it was, for some time, it was face-to-face, but it has reduced drastically. And it's quite conducive for me, like people like it. In the comfort of our home on a Sunday, we spend, just like we're spending, a one good productive hour. I feel I get the good vibes from all of you. And I would like to thank Mr. Pradeep Shetty and all of you who are present here. I get a very good vibe. I get a very good feeling being in your midst. So if you have any question, anything to ask, please feel free. And if anyone can answer it better than me, please give your inputs because we are all here to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Awesome. It was an awesome presentation. Thank you very much for this great presentation, Navin, sir. I would like to ask all of you, audiences, to please go ahead and unmute yourself and please ask a couple of questions to our leader today, Navin, sir, please. Thank you.
You can stop sharing the.
Yeah, and before he stops sharing, I think, if you need his details, you can go to his YouTube and, I have all the details. So you can take a photograph of this screen right now, all of you. It will definitely help you because we really do not know, and in our journey, who will help us in various places and various steps here. Please go ahead and try connecting with Navin, sir. So he has a lot in his bucket. He's just sharing couple of them right now because due to the shortage of time. I request all of you to please get connected with him on the Facebook, Instagram, on also his YouTube. Just get connected with him, and also through email. Also, if you have a specific questions related to skill development, maybe soft skills, leadership skills, quality management, he's the right person to to be approached. Yeah. So it's over to the audience here. Please go ahead and ask him a couple of questions. Yeah, thank you.
Shall I remove the screen share?
Yeah, you can remove the screen share right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We can see you. That's great.
Tell me. Thank you, Rajan Ramane. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And whenever you speak, I request you to just introduce yourself, like anybody asking questions to Naveen sir. So I request all of you to just introduce yourself so that Naveen sir would know who you are and what you do and all the things. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Navin. I'm Dr. Shiv Kumar.
Yes, doctor.
I'm a retired professor.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. I just want to add some inputs to whatever you said about identifying your strengths and weaknesses and trying to.
Please, sir. It would be great.
Actually, what has happened is in the last 12, 15 years back, new thought has come in the minds of the management experts, the authors who write the book. They said, once you identify your strengths, instead of trying to improve your weakness to better that, why don't you just concentrate on your strength and make it better and better so that you are very good in that 3-4 areas where you have the strength. So this has been the new way of thinking, probably from 2005 to, I don't remember the author's name, the book I read, but they have mentioned like this. You need not be only looking at the weakness and trying to overcome them by...
Is it Gallup, sir? Gallup?
Who's that?
Gallup. That Gallup's...
that is Rajan sir. Rajan sir.
I'm Rajan here.
Okay.
Rajan sir, we cannot see you. We cannot see you. Can you focus the camera on you? Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So I'm very sorry. I don't remember the name of the book, but I have gone through it and I just want to add it as an input so that you can check it out. Probably you will be able to.
Definitely.
Just an input that I want to.
No, that's definitely. We always take it, and it's nice. I'll definitely try to get that book and try to find out more about it. And it's true what you say, doctor. You see, there are many ways. Many people have said, like, one is you concentrate on your strength. Other one would be like you try to get those qualities which you do not have. Others is like you say, you try to improve on your weakness. But personally, under your correction, sir, because you are very senior and very educated, I cannot speak above you. I feel humbled to speak. I'm just putting my thought, and
I've come to learn from you.
No. I'm learning. Your presence is, it's a blessing for me that I have your presence here. What I've learned simply is, when we try to find out a solution, it's individual based. At times, I have told people, okay, I have used people based on their strength.
Okay.
That is true. It's very true. At times, I have used people based on the weakness. Okay. Because I know these people will not be able to perform, but if I put them in that group, they will improve at least 10%. So there are some groups, as a leader, you see, there's a way of looking at it. You can look at profit. What profits me? I put my best man, he brings the best chunk, I get the best profit. This is one way of looking at it. But we talk about sidelining. So what happened? Those who are weak will remain weak. So in a group, sometimes you put the best person, and sometimes you put also a few weak person there. Even if they do not do anything, they learn. Just that interaction, it helps. And it is true, depending on circumstances. It depends on the circumstances, on what you want to put and what is the demand of the day. If there is an emergency, it's a question of life and death. Put your best man, because here, this is what is required. But if it is something where the person, you feel that that person will gain some experience out of it, will grow, send him there. You see, so it's all like based on situation, I would say. But yes, definitely, it is one of the principles. I agree with you that sometimes instead of going for your weakness, go for your strength, because this is what is going to move you forward. You see, growing on your weaknesses, you're still learning to do something, but where it is like an asset, you have your strength, use that and move ahead. At least you are a few steps ahead. So it's a very great input, Doctor. I really appreciate your input.
Sir, once you accept this, then what happens is you get a delegation of authority, specialization, everything comes from there.
Right, definitely.
The moment you identify somebody is a very good surgeon who can do surgery very well, instead of
Right.
doing other kind of medical thing, you put it to him and he becomes an expert in surgery. And
Right.
over a period, he becomes a specialist.
Definitely.
That's how, even in fact, in Tamil, 2000 years back, there is one saint poet called Tiruvalluvar.
Right.
He made a thing, he's saying, இதனை இதனால் இவனால் முடிக்கும் என்று ஆராய்ந்து அதனை அவன் கண் விடல். Find the right man for the right job at the right time at the right place, and he will be able to deliver you what you want.
Yes, yes. I think this is a simple and basic thing, and it's a very nicely put management philosophy, you can say. Very well profound and very deep thing. Right man in the right place at the right time, you see. And it's
whatever you said, sometimes you will identify somebody's strength, push it along, you put the weak people so that they get some experience on that, how to handle the situation. So that way you're saying we develop the next generation to take over the responsibilities. That way we can.
Definitely.
That's also a very nice way of looking at it. But this is what I read. I wanted to share with you. That's all.
No, that is excellent. That is excellent. And the example also you gave in medical field, I think there you don't take chance. You have to put the best over there.
Yeah.
Here,
for example,
life and death. Like I said, on life and death, you put the best man forward. There's no, you cannot take chance over there.
Maybe some surgery to be done. You cannot tell compounder you go, nurse you go.
Actually, it was, you only said life and death. That's why I took that example. Otherwise, even any activity management, you identify this guy knows his job. So ask him to be a team leader, and that way you can
get it done.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Very nice talking to you.
Very nice.
Navin sir, I got two questions here.
Yes, sure.
Number one, see, you told you for 1.5 years you have undergone some life coach train the trainer program.
Right.
So have you followed the same curriculum? The way you came out with the curriculum, the curriculum and design, whichever you have come out, have you followed the same system, or it is you are improvised on it? One thing.
Okay.
And second, you can answer.
Tell me second question also.
And second question is, see, you told that you have traveled all over the world and many countries and all you have traveled.
Yeah.
So, do you feel the leadership qualities differ from region to region, or it is universal?
Okay. Right. The first part of the question is like about life coaching, whether it has got the same principle and so on. I would say, what is life coaching? It's like you're transforming people in one way. You're helping people transform in a simple way, in a simple language. I took the life coaching course basically to get acceptance. You see, it's very important. If you say, I'm a doctor, but without a medical certificate, it doesn't gel well, you see. Because I give you an example. Those, I think Mr. Knight, he's from the Navy background, those from the military background, they will understand that. When people join the military in any countries of the world, this is universal. When they join, on the first day, you take a picture of those person. They are standing, they're wearing the dress. You just take a picture of them. You will see that if there's 100 people, there will be 100 styles of standing, 100 kind of behaviors, 100 kinds of looks. This is universal. I've seen it like I told, I've been to all the armies in the world, and I've seen it in all the countries. It happened in the same way. After 15 days, the basic inculcation training in any army is 15 days. They took 15 days. It's research. I don't know how they came to that, but somehow it is like that. I do not have the scientific explanation of that. But within 15 days, when you take the same people out of the training is not complete yet. The training may take 6 months, 9 months, depending on what they're training for. But after 15 days, they will all stand in one way. They will all speak in the same way. They will all look the same way. They will all dress up with the same style. They will all walk in the same style. So what has happened? It's a transformation.
Discipline.
It's a kind of transformation. But that transformation takes place in a controlled environment where you have a 24-hour control over the people. You control the mind, you control everything, all the activities, the food, the dress, the everything, and you're able to make them become like this. But in normal walk of life, when someone comes to you with a difficulty and says, okay, I'm facing this difficulty, or I want to become this in my life. I want to change myself. I basically apply the same knowledge that I have from my background, from my defense background. How I incorporate it a bit more softly with what I have learned in life coaching, and keeping in mind that the person who is in front of me is not going to do it in 15 days. It may take 3 months, 4 months, or 5 months time to do it. So I give him that much of time, but the principle remains the same. I would say the only thing which differ is the time lapse and the type of control you can bring, because here there is a lot of it depends on the person himself. A change doesn't come from the life coach. The life coach assists. Okay, he brings some kind of assistance, he gives you some kind of guidance. It is the person's own willingness to do it. And what does the life coach do? In a simple way, what he does, he just puts the program. He has to ensure that the program that you have put for the person to take the first step and the next step, it is stepwise. It is a step which he can achieve based on the current abilities that he has. You see, because if that first step is not done, then the person will get discouraged. He will say, this task is an impossibility for me. I will not do it. You see, he will just run away. He will just turn back and he will not try again in his life. So that's where the life coach comes into play. That you have to have a good understanding physically, psychologically, financially, emotionally of that person. You have to have a complete picture of that person. You have to know that person. You have to know, yes, take this, and always your target, if you can do something 100%, you give him a target which is 90%. Let the person feel, hey, I've taken this step. I've been able to do it. Yes, I can do it. You make him take the next step. It's always a small step at a time. And in this way, you start moving the person. But if you give the person right now from step 0 to step 10, trying to make a jump, that's not possible. Here, it is not possible. So yes, in one sense, like your question, whether I use the same thing or different, I would say at times it is the same. The principle remains the same, but it's adapted to be used in these conditions where time, we have to give more time, and we have to understand that this person comes to me and he is not investing himself 24 hours a day in that activity. He's investing himself maybe 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day in that activity. We have to consider that. The second part of your question, I hope I have answered this question, Mr.
Leadership, whether leadership, you have traveled all over the world, do you find the leadership as unique everywhere, or do you find any differences in the attitude, mindset of the people? The execution part of it. Executing leadership, leadership will be, because again it is a molding factor.
Right.
Everything comes from the molding only. How our parents, like an Indian parent would have brought us in a different way. An American parent would have brought up in a different way. A European parent would have brought up in a different way. So that molding automatically, that molding will always be there. That is their basement. That is the foundation. It will never change for lifetime. The leadership qualities will be only based on that. So did you find any difference in different regions?
See,
or do you find it is all unique everywhere?
No, it is not unique. There are some similarities also. There are some similarities also. There are some differences also. Okay. It's like, you know, it is based on culture. But each country has got its own culture. I'll give you an example, the Japanese culture. Their elders have been given great weightage. Youngsters will always follow the elders. They don't speak in front of the elders. Okay, so there, whatever is said, it is just executed. Okay, so it's even in the business organization, it is like this. Okay, it's like the elders are a kind of sage, you know, the sage is speaking. So you don't butt in, you don't intervene, you accept what is. This is a bit mostly. Now, I would say Japan is the highest you can see. Now you come down to South Korea, you come down to Singapore. It is somehow the same flavor is there, but with a different variety, with a different graduation. There's slightly more relaxation in that. But the basic principle remains the same. Now you go towards the European side. European side, they are much more open about it. Okay, like I give you the example of the general who came and came up with a mob. I think from the Asian side, Eastern side, you won't see that happening. You cannot see that happening, you see. But there is something very interesting also, Mr. Raja, that I found is, you see, human beings, what we say human beings, at some level, they are the same. When you come to the core level, when they come to the inner self of the person, you don't come at the gross cultural level, then you find that there's similarity. It is like, you know, oxygen. You know, oxygen in India, oxygen in Malaysia, oxygen in Singapore, in the US. It may be having some level of pollutants, you know, some level of pollutant. It looks different. But when you come to the fundamental level of the atom, how does it look? It has got the same combination. So I would say, I have seen people, when you come to a very deep level within themselves, they all speak the same language. Now, to make a point on this one, if you see philosophically, you see Eastern philosophy, you see Western philosophy, European philosophy, East European philosophy. Those among the philosophers who have achieved a very high level of awareness, of self-awareness, they speak the same language. It is like a scientist working in China, a scientist working in India, a scientist working in anywhere in the world. If they discover the same atom of oxygen, I think they're going to see it similarly. They say, yes, I've seen the same thing. There's no difference over there. So this is where you come to an absolute level, I would say. So on an absolute level, yes, they are the same. On a gross level, culture influences that type of leadership that you have. So there is that flavor of that culture in that. You can see that way. That's my experience. I may be wrong, I do not know, but this is what I have observed. What I observed,
you're right. You made it in a beautiful way. you correctly made it actually. You understood my question and you really answered it. But the only thing that curriculum design, that I could not get the problem. So that whatever the train the trainer program, 1.5 years you have done that. So is it 1.5 years course actually?
Yes.
Train the trainer program, life coach.
Yes.
The design, have you followed? Now you came out with the webinar. Have you followed the same system, or have you altered as per your convenience?
You see, I understand your question. For me, when I get a person, any person I get, each person is unique in its case. See, first, for me, when I get a person, I hear him out. I see him like, okay, when he comes to me, he's on the baseline. I see this is his baseline.
No, sir, actually, you're not accepting. No. What I'm telling you is, see, we have also undergone a training in IITD. here in India.
No,
You
maybe
have
I'm
gone
not
through a
understanding
life
the
coach.
question. Maybe I'm not getting the question correctly. Tell me.
See, we have undergone a course in India, that is IITD. That is a 6 months course we have undergone.
Okay.
But you have undergone a course for 1.5 years. 1.5 years you have undergone the course. So I just want to know the difference. Actually, 1.5 years, have you, for that curriculum, whatever that design, that PPT, whatever you design, have you designed that as per the life coach training which you have got as a trainer, or have you changed that as per your convenience? Got a point?
Yes. No, this is what I'm
The
trying to
curriculum
answer.
design, I'm talking about the trainer program.
Yes. I'm coming to that. In fact, what is there in the course, if I follow it, you see, if I follow it, sometimes I see that it's going to get more time to achieve a certain result.
That is experience. That is it.
You see, it's a bit slow. Now, out of experience, this is where I see it. They have a process. The process is very clear. You have to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But personally, how I go about it, you see, this is what has been written in the books. Okay, books is you follow step 1, step 2, step 10, you go like this. How I go about it, when the person comes to me, when he relates his problem, when he relates his difficulties, at the same time, I assess that person. What do I assess in him? I assess his abilities and his willpower. How much willpower strength he has, how much he's willing to bring that change, and how much pain he is able to take. You see, it's all a question of pain. Say, no pain, no gain. I think it's a common saying, no pain, no gain. So any transformation, any training, you have to undergo some mental stress, some physical stress, something you have to undergo, some effort you have to put. So the question is how much you can put. Then I will decide the first step, whether the first step will be a small step or a slightly bigger step. You see, that you can take. So I do not follow, like you say. Yes, I do not follow per se that process. What I follow is how much the person, if the person can give me a 2-step at a go, I prefer to go on that 2-step at a go. You see, I do not follow it that way based on my experience.
In our curriculum also, there is a train the trainer program.
Yeah.
We have got TNA, training need analysis.
Right.
Training need analysis. There is a theory in that. I think have you also gone through that, sir? Life coach.
Training analysis, we should do it for an institution. Now you're talking about, you talk about life coaching, right?
Yeah.
And right now what you're talking about is from the business sector.
Corporate,
it's for an organization, you see. So it's two different things. Like your question was life coaching and then training. Training need analysis, of course. You need to see, firstly, where does the organization wants to be? That is, what is the immediate objective of that organization? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? You want to achieve this. Fine. What are your resources to be able to do that? What are the resources available? What are the additional resources you require? By resources, I grouped the man, material, everything in that. Maybe the man requires more training, requires something specific, but it's not that easy because on this question of training need analysis, my own experience tell me that very often we tend to say, I have got IT managers, so this is an IT problem they will be able to tackle. I have got these people, this section, they will be able to get it. But very often, when you tackle the person, you go to the IT manager, you speak to him directly, okay, this is the task. Then you come to know, yes, he's got experience in X side of it, not the Y side of it. You see? So when you come to final level, it is true. You have to be a bit more detailed to be able to do. Otherwise, why I'm telling you this, it is, we had a project like this. And we had taken, the company, in fact, had taken 3 IT managers to do that particular task. And out of the 3 task managers, the project got delayed. In fact, the project got delayed for more than 3 months. That project got delayed completely. Then he called me. He told me, look, and when I went there, and he explained me, the CEO of that company explained me the problem. And I spoke to the IT managers. I said that you're qualified in this. Why is this not working? In fact, all the answers were there, but they lacked something. Something was lacking in the whole process, which they didn't have it completely. And of course, always remember, whenever you do training need analysis, you want to interview a manager, a training, an IT manager, for example. Seldom he's going to tell you, hey, I don't know this, I know this. Because saying he doesn't know this might put him in some difficulty. Like he might feel that, oh, he might be,
Yes.
like
Self-doubt.
this is where you, as a trainer, without making him feel that, you have already detected where the the deficiency
Weakness
is.
lies, sir. Weakness
And
lies.
you're not going to openly write about it. Oh, this manager doesn't know. No, but you have understood that in your training program, you're going to ask for these specific things. I give you an example, very simple example. There was a simple website to be made, a website for a company. So where I was working, this is not even a process, you see. It's a website to be made. And there was a young guy, he was related to that company. In fact, he was a family related to that company, you can say, some kind of relation to that company. He was given that website to be made. And after even, I think, 6 months or 9 months, the website was not ready. He was asking for too many information, what to write, what not to write. And it was going on, but things were not happening. And you see, try to understand me. You are talking to the niece or to the nephew of a CEO and so on. So you got to be careful a bit, like, you understand that in family relation, there's something more. How the CEO see that person? Payment has been made, but the product is not coming. And you can't put pressure also to get it done on time. But this was the case. So we decided, we say, okay, we are not going to mingle with that family affair. What we do, we call another IT manager, which was working. We said, okay, you do it now. He also undertook the process, and it took quite some time. Now, the question is, we are talking of IT manager. I'm not an IT manager. I'm from communication background, from electronic and telecommunication background. But I have managed many projects. And it didn't happen. Here also, I could say delay and so on and so forth directly, because yes, there may be an IT manager, they have come, but they have a difficulty in writing a good, the content of that website. When I give you a website, I give it completely. To write the content correctly, they were having difficulty, but they were not saying it. To put the kind of design, to put the kind of photograph, that they were having such difficulty, but they never spell it out. They're not going to say, I can't write content on a website. You see, it was not my job. After a long time, after I think 9 months or 10, I become fed up with it. You will be surprised. I'm just sharing with you. I called someone from the university, a student from the university. I said, come, sit in my office here. I'll just give you the task. All the writing I'll do. You just make the, how to say, the frame.
Design.
Pasting it. The website was made within a short time. So it all depends here on experience and how you want things together. So these are practical examples. You see a CV, you must be knowing at your level, you see a CV of a person. You can make out the difference once you read the CV, whether this person is experienced or he's just showing his syllabus for what he has covered in his, in his engineering or whatever. Sometimes they put the syllabus over there because they don't have enough, let's say, experience to put right there. And by reading it, you can make out what can be done, what cannot be done. But of course, I don't take it as a something deficient. I always encourage them because I understand they are in a phase, maybe they're feeling shy, maybe, when you just join, it's not that you know everything, but the title sometimes is big. You may not know everything. Once you come out of the college of engineering, you might not have an exposure of everything, you see. So the difficulty might be there, and we need to be a bit smooth on that. This is why we say we need to be a bit caring, not talk about it, but you have understood it as a senior, like, okay, this is the problem. So when I say that, we will give that person a chance to improve upon this. Maybe you put in a team where some content writing is being done. He be part of that, he start learning it, and then he start developing it. But yes, it's not always easy, this training need analysis, because I've seen many training need analysis being done. When times come for implementation, you see the problem. The implementation is not smooth. You find lots of obstacles, and then you learn that you have to make deviation in the plan in order to, you have to make amendments in your training plan in order to achieve your objective. So this is practical, what I'm telling you.
Correct. Thank you very much. Dr. Shiv Kumar?
Yeah,
Yes.
one more, just 2 minutes, sorry, because Mr. Raja took a very big question for him to answer, and he took all his pains to give a very nice answer for that. One other thing, there are 2 other inputs I would like to give you, my thoughts I want to share with you. One is you mentioned about man, manage man, material,
And machine
and all that. No,
Yeah.
actually, what has happened in the recent times from 90s, if I want to just tell you, nowadays what we include is manage, then we have man, and we have team. That technology part is now included. So when you split the word management, you split it manage, put a slash there, then you have man, put a slash there, and T stands for technology.
Right.
So that is how we are trying to do the work. You put material and things, which is was there till the IT took over many of the activities. So that part should be there. The other thing which I want to share with you is, whenever we talk about teamwork, the best example is our human body, because even if a little finger is not having a small wound,
Pain,
the whole system will not work, because you are always careful. Unfortunately, only that finger will get hurt. Somebody will come and shake your hand very vigorously and say, how are you? How are you? Oh my God, what is this? So, the teamwork, if you look, the brain is the leader, and all the others work. Even if the smallest part in our body is giving a pain, then we are not able to perform to the best of our ability. So
that's an excellent, I would say, it's an excellent way of summing it up. It's an excellent example, I would say.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Even I have never heard about this. I have read several books on leadership, but
No, it's a very nice
teamwork.
example.
Yes, I will try to use it somewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
valuable
much.
inputs.
Nice meeting you, and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to say something.
Yeah. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Navinji, I am Devraj actually, and I heard you all over. You totally.
Sir, you raise your laptop.
I heard your.
We cannot see you correctly, Baldev sir. Can you just
Now you can see.
Oh yes, a
Yeah.
little more. Yeah, to down. Yeah.
It's
Now
okay.
we can see you.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ ना? That's okay.
Yes, बोलिए.
Yeah.
Okay. Navin sir,
Thank
if you can
thank
understand Hindi, okay, that's great. Go ahead.
बड़ी तन्मयता से मैंने सुना इस बात को और बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने किस तरीके से लाइफ कोचिंग स्किल्स को कॉर्पोरेट लीडरशिप के अंदर मर्ज किया, जिस तरीके से सबकी सोल एक है, बॉडी अलग है, माइंड अलग है, एंड सबकी नेचुरल कैपेबिलिटीज अलग है, और आपने उसकी सोल को पकड़कर लीडरशिप क्वालिटी का जिस तरीके से उसको बंडल बना के पेश किया है, is excellent example which is very much required in society, actually in corporate level and society also.
Yes.
Because the mind can be different, mind can be trained, body can be trained, but basic things which is behind the body mind, that is soul, which is universal.
Right.
You're talking about it, and there's some universal principle you can calculate, you kept in this presentation. That's I like it. Excellent, marvelous, and it is required for society. This is required for some children's level also, some young level also, and older level also.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you very much creating
Thank
this
you, sir.
program.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
Merge
you.
with the
Perfect. Yeah.
natural values of the human values.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's all right.
Rajan, sir, you have any questions for Naveen, sir, please?
No, it was fantastic session. Lot of things I have learned, and
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things will really help me in my training,
Yes.
because I understood one thing, that when you align with the natural law or law of the nature,
Right.
probably that helps you a lot. And one thing I took from your session, that there has to be a purpose in front of you, and that
Yes.
purpose should be a bigger purpose, not just for selfish purpose sort of thing.
Right. Right.
Correct. Correct.
That is
Wider.
going to actually drive you and your team together towards the goal. So
Definitely.
that kind of motivation or inspiration, which comes within each and every individual of your team, it is the best situation actually to work and move ahead, because the entire atmosphere becomes conducive, and there is a lot of whole of the journey is a happy journey. And
Right.
that's what I think you wanted to say, that the happiness plays a very
Yes.
important role.
No, definitely. We don't work for something which will create, difficulties or distress. And I think I'm very happy that I also learned quite a lot from this platform, from these great people. And the bottom line is, like, for a leader, I have learned that in India, and it's good to know. My first military training was done in the prestigious Indian Military Academy in Dehradun.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Congrats, sir. Thank you. Nice to know that.
So I'm the first officer of Mauritius to be trained in Dehradun at the IMA.
Wow.
Before me, no one went. So I was the first one to open that door, you see,
Wow.
that way. And
Amazing.
I'm
Amazing.
very happy to have learned it from there. And I also learned that this was the place where Guru Drone was
yeah.
teaching his
Arjun.
disciple Arjun and so on in the valley of Doon, and the academy is located in that Dehradun, in that Doon valley, and they have got a very nice saying which I always kept with me, and I do follow that principle. It says, the honor and safety of your country comes first, always and every time. The honor and safety of the men you command comes next, always and every time. Your own honor and safety comes last, always and every time. That's the sum of the leadership of the servant leader. And I think I learned it from there. And I'm very happy to be there. And I have seen these qualities being practically applied in India. I have seen that being practically applied by the officers of the Indian Army, armed forces, you see. So it has given
Absolutely
me
right.
maybe that blessing. I got that blessing somewhere, a part of the blessing. So to be like that.
This, I remembered Simon Sinek's video saying that the leaders will have food after the soldiers. In army,
Yes,
it is like that.
yes, yes, yes. This is why Lao Tzu said, you lead your people, walk beside them. If you walk beside them, you will feel hungry like them. You will feel thirsty like them. You will feel tired like them. Then before you give an instruction, you will give an instruction based on what you can do and what they can.
Right.
It will not be something theoretical, you see, that way.
You live that moment together. It's like that.
Yes.
I think we all owe a thanks to Mr. Pradeep Shetty for bringing you today and to share your thoughts with us. And we had a very good evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Normally, our time is, Naveen sir, we end by 7. But since we thought you are coming all long from Mauritius, we need to hear more and more from you.
Okay.
It was really amazing.
My time is still 6, I'm still early,
Oh,
yeah. So we are.
It's 6 p.m. right over there?
Yeah. It's going right now. It's 6 p.m. computer time. You see.
Okay.
So you're 1.5 hours, ahead of us.
Right.
It was my pleasure to be with you. And maybe someday when I come to Bangalore, I'd like to meet all of you. It would be nice.
Sure, sir.
Yes.
It is a pleasure, sir.
Sure,
We welcome you to Bangalore.
we'll have the local coffee or dosa or
Yeah,
something
we
like
will
that.
have a get-together,
Anything,
sure, sure.
yeah.
No,
Sure.
definitely.
Please call.
Yeah.
Only you need to inform all of us maybe at least 2 weeks ahead so that we can
No,
accordingly
definitely.
plan
Once
during the
maybe
weekends.
the air route is open, then I'll be in touch. We are in touch through Facebook. And
Yes,
if any
yes.
one of you needs my help in anything, I
Yes.
keep releasing videos very freely, I would say, on this topic.
Yes.
Like I say, I'm here to share, not necessarily, it's not my business, it's not my career. My main career, I have already done it. Right now, it's more of a sharing, though it's a profession of mine,
Yes.
but whenever I can help, I do help. So I have a YouTube channel, I have the Facebook where I regularly, every week, I share some of the thoughts in a video, which is quite, inspirational just to watch and, to listen. And it just, you can use it for your own training. Feel free to use it. I don't mind it, And if you need anything from me, do
Sure.
contact me. If you're having any training, you would like me to speak on a
Yes.
particular topic for some time,
Sure.
do get in touch. Don't feel, there's no
Yes,
hesitation.
yes.
We know each other.
Yes.
We're here
Yes.
to
Yes.
share and
Thank
make,
you.
people feel better, whatever we can. That would be a pleasure for me to do so.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are
Thanks a lot,
also,
sir.
we are
Thanks a lot.
also at your service.
Pradeep.
If you feel any of us can come and give some training program for your group, please talk to
Definitely.
Mr. Pradeep. Probably we'll be also having that.
Yeah, maybe the first-hand experience on the international level. At least we'll get that this thing. Yes.
No,
It will be a
it's
wonderful experience
nice,
for us.
Maybe
Pradeep ji.
together we can do something.
Can I say something?
Yes. Yes. बोलिए sir. बोलिए please.
Thank you. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया पर लख लख शुक्र
अरे
है लाख
ऐसा
लाख
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
आपका बहुत
आपने जो
धन्यवाद।
अरेंजमेंट किया है आपको हेल्थी वेल्थी एवरीथिंग और नवीन जी को भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया
नवीन जी का
इतना
हम लोग
जबरदस्त
खास
प्रोग्राम दिया ना
बहुत बहुत
beautiful
शुक्रगुजार
program
करना चाहिए.
मजा आ
Actually,
गया
जैसा ही
आनंद आ
हमने
गया मजा आ
कहा,
गया
यस
Thank you.
तुरंत उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. उनका बहुत हम लोग आभारी है. वी आर वेरी वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू यू सर. It doesn't
No,
matter we are only 5 or 6 or whatever it is, but anyway
No,
we are
it is
going
not
to
wrong.
upload in video.
Quantity is not
YouTube. It will go to many thousands of people, but only thing is that when I just asked you to please come into this platform, you readily agreed and you said yes, and that is really great. That shows the real sign of a leader. That is a true leader, sir. I really respect you a lot.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
being
You
from
see,
the field of defense, it's really great, sir. Thank you. Thank
Mr.
you.
Pradeep, one person can make a difference. We have 5 here, so you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Just like Swami Vivekananda, he said, if I have only 100 people like me, I can change the whole entire universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So even in the Indian scripture, it's being said about the Panch Pandav, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. So
they
we
did-
have the Pandavs here, the great people are here. I'm
Yeah.
learning from them. I'm very grateful that we have got such, great people here.
Yes.
And I take your blessing that I'll be able to serve humanity better. I'll be able to be of some kind of service to people. That's what I look forward to. If I'm able to make a person happy, serve a person, I think I feel great about it that way.
Thank you so much for today's session.
You all the
And
best,
it
sir.
was
God bless
amazing,
you.
and all the best from our end too. We'll stay connected and we'll keep watching your videos and sharing it in our various platforms.
We'll be following you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you, sir. Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thank you
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care.
Thank you
and
friends.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you
Naveen.
$1 million lives also.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye.
Pradeep.
Bye.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you. Thank you all.
Dr.
Bye.
Saab.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Doctor,
Naveen, sir. Bye.
Thank you,
Take
Naveen.
care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care of your health.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.